All right, everyone, welcome back to Offset Conversations. And today I want to talk about a topic that it comes up a lot, and it's a conversation that many of us deal with. I know I've definitely dealt with it, and I think it's time for kind of put it out there so that way if you're listening to this and you can relate to this, you actually start taking action. And so I wanted to speak on judgment and what judgment does to people. I feel like judgment, the word judgment, and how we feel when we feel that we're gonna get judged, it really limits our possibilities. It limits a lot of the things that we can do. The reason I'm so passionate about this is because there were so many times that I wanted to do X, Y, or Z, and I felt like, okay, what are people gonna say about me? What are my peers gonna say? Or what are my friends gonna say? What is my family gonna say? And it's always constant, like, are people gonna make fun of me? It doesn't matter what it is. When I started the channel 2 years ago, it's not like I had the idea on Monday and by Friday I was interviewing myself and then I interview other people. No, that's not how it went. It went for 2 years. I had this idea of wanting to do something, and for 2 long years I had this idea that, what if I create something nobody watches? All I'm gonna say is, who cares? I think the right people will watch. The right people will tune in. Why is it that it's almost like we create this mental block in our head, thinking that other people's opinions are somehow going to evaluate, how we are as a person or the message that we're trying to send. Ultimately, nobody cares. And I think that I found that the hard way. And knowing that you create something and the right people will tune in. Some people would say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing these Offset Conversations because it's not good for the channel number wise. I mean, look, you're averaging 150 views, 300 views, whatever it is, compared to some other videos. And the reason why I'm doing the Offset Conversations is because I always wanted to do some type of, podcast type of style, answering questions. I listen to motivational speakers on daily, and that's kind of my thing. And so a lot of the different things that they constantly say is, we're also worried about, what is so-and-so gonna say? What is Sally Pants gonna say? Or I know it all, Joe 38 on Instagram or YouTube. What are they gonna write about me? And I've come to find out that, the people that have the time to watch something and dislike it and to be negative, that's just more about them. And so if you're sitting there thinking, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, it doesn't matter if it's social media, if it's something else, car related, non-car related, why don't you do it? What's the big fear? Obviously, nothing unethical, nothing dangerous, nothing in those sense. Anything else, I feel like I would be super supportive. The idea that, how many people have I met that I've interviewed and they tell me, man, like I kind of wish I started a YouTube channel. Dude, stop wishing, start doing. Man, I wish I could stream, or I wish I could, do something like the way you're doing it. Dude, by all means, go and do it. I've told so many people, and I know some people can vouch for this on the DMing. They're like, man, I had the idea, something similar to what you're doing, man. I wish I could do it. And I tell them, do it. Do the same thing. Seriously, if you want to ask the same questions, tell us, what do you drive? Do I don't care, do it. And the reason why is this: I'm super secure and confident that I bring something to the channel that you're not going to be able to bring, right? And you bring something to your own channel that I'm not going to be able to bring. And honestly, the world is so big. Seriously, the world is so big, the internet is huge. There's no reason why we should be fighting within little channels. Like, the grand scheme of things, man, if somebody was to start like interview type of video and they have better resources and they have a bigger team or whatever the case may be, go ahead. The same thing, if you're just starting with your phone, I started with my phone. I mean, I've had at the beginning, a lot of people were like, dude, really? You're just doing it with your phone? I'm like, yeah, like, that's just how it starts. And little by little, and to this day, I don't have the most fancy gadgets. I don't have the gadgets, not because I don't want to go and spend that much money. It just, I think that what I'm doing, it's working with what I have. If eventually I want to continue to grow, then by all means. But the minute you start making it complicated, the minute you start thinking like, man, like, then obviously you're not going to be able get to the next step. And so that's kind of the main thing when it comes to this topic. You know, you're sitting there watching this or listening to this or watching the videos, and I do appreciate it, but at the same time I want you to do something about your own situation. I want you to say, you know what, I've always wanted to start a podcast type of style videos because I've heard it many times. Do it. What's the fear? That 0 people watch, that only 1 person watches? What's the fear? Who cares? If that's helping you on a daily, if that helps you decompress from the difficulties of your job or, you know, whatever problems you may be having, if that's what's giving you joy, then go for it. I think part of it is some of us want to get to the point where like, well, the following is there and I'll only do it if and when the following gets to the point where I want it to be. Realistically, nobody starts like that, right? You know, I've said it before, social media right now, it's crazy. It's crazy because the idea is that, you know, students in high schools and middle school, they're more amazed by somebody who has a big following on social media than somebody who has a master's degree or a doctor's degree or they're engineers or firefighters. You know, we glamorize all these different people and we think that, oh, if I start a reality show per se, you know, vlogging, that I must get the numbers that Kim Kardashian is getting. Otherwise, it's a fail. Come on, like realistically, they're in their own little thing, you know? You have to be on your own little journey and be okay with whatever comes your way. So stop thinking and start doing whatever that is. There's so many different ideas. Just execute on one. Guess what? The video is not going to be perfect. The blog is going to have some grammatical errors. You know, anything is it's gonna take a while. If you're trying to start something from scratch or something that you know you've been wanting to do, if there's a reason why you wanted to do it, because you've seen somebody else do it for the most part, right? That's how I was. Start. It's not gonna be perfect. Switch, adjust, modify as you go. That's how the channel has been, and thanks to you guys with the you know, suggestions. Hey man, you should add this, you should add that. I know what the limits are. I know what I can add and I cannot add due to resources and time and other, you know, factors. But ultimately, I'm telling you, start doing something. Stop worrying about what Silly Pants 38 is gonna say on YouTube, on the way your voice sounds, or you don't speak English that well, or you speak English too well, or you're not good looking, or you're too good looking. Just don't worry about that, because ultimately that says more about them. Think about it. If you start doing something today without it having a top ceiling expectation, anything and everything will be a higher expectation. Everything will always be a stepping stone that you weren't thinking. Everything will always get to a place where you're like, whoa, I didn't imagine I could get this. And the universe is huge. It's big. Put it out there. Keep thinking positive. Keep putting it out there. In your visual boards, if you haven't created one, do notes to yourself. Listen to the right things that you have to listen, instead of going and kind of just sitting and consuming just any type of videos. Consume something positive that will motivate you to actually get up your seat and say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do that because it's important to me, because it's gonna give me happiness, because I know that in the journey I'm gonna be able to learn about myself and about others. Whatever that is, if it's, you know, teaching somebody how to work a computer or installing that muffler like, you know, David just did on his GTR, who cares? Do it, because it is bringing some joy to some individuals out there. Don't get caught up on the numbers. Don't get caught up on, well, only 5 people saw my video, so I should quit. Who cares? Do it. If you enjoy the process, do something that is fun. Don't do something that you're just aiming for numbers, because realistically, you could go viral many times and have this huge following, but at the end of the day, if you don't like it, what's the point? So the whole idea of being judged, kick that to the curb. You know what I mean? Think about it. What is it that you at the very moment want to do? What's something that you know, I've been thinking about doing that. Yeah, maybe you don't have the whole entire capital or the whole entire resources, but don't let that stop you. Do something, even if it's just one little step forward. You'll be surprised where in a month, in a year, in 6 years, you'll be. The point is, do something. Don't get caught up on the whole big number game, because otherwise you're always going to lose. There's always going to be somebody who started 20 years ago and now they have a big following. Guess what? That exists. do it for you, do it for fun, do it for you to interact with different people, and for you to just have peace of mind and some type of positive impact on your mental health. So that's my little rant on judgment, and just do what feels good for you, and who cares about what people have to say or comment on the sections. What's one thing that you kind of want to do? Put it out there, man. Start doing it. Seriously, there's no reason why you shouldn't. Thank you guys for the love and the support. By the time this is out, the channel has surpassed 15,000 subscribers. Crazy. Can't even thank you guys enough. It's mind blowing. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. We go for the car, we stay for the person, man. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.